All right, friends, how are you today? It's Aaron Michael Ashenberg here, bringing you your daily horoscope for the 16th of May. The 16th of May. I can't believe how fast this year is flying by. Let's get to it. Let's not dwell on it. There's so much going on today. Nothing is lighting up, right? So yesterday we had Venus moved into Taurus until June 8th. And now we've got Mars. Mars is moving out of Gemini, where it's been for a month and a half, and now it's moving into Cancer. A lot of people are freaking out about this across the message boards and the interwebs. Mars and Cancer, Mars and Cancer. Oh my God, why? Why? I just had a coffee this morning. You didn't know what I'm telling you. I just had a coffee with someone this morning that has a Mars and Cancer. It's not a terrible aspect. It's not a terrible transit. Is learning to adapt. It's learning to change. All right. Mars is in a weaker spot in the sign of Cancer. Why? Because Mars is our planet of action. It's about moving forward. It's about getting traction. It's like football players or baseball players, whatever. They're wearing cleats. Why? Because it's going to dig into the ground. They're going to have better traction to move. Mars wants to move. Now, if we look at the personal planets, which is Mars, Venus, and Mercury. Venus and Mercury stay with the sun, okay? Mercury can only go one sign ahead or one sign behind. It's always moving around with the sun. Venus can go about 2 signs ahead or 2 signs behind, so about a 60-degree arc, where Mercury's around the 40-degree mark, something like that, Mars is his own. That's why he's the warrior, the journeyman soldier. Like, Mars does what Mars wants. It's not, again, Mercury and Venus are always moving within 1 or 2 signs of the sun. So you never have a sun opposite Venus. Never. And it doesn't matter whose chart it is. It doesn't happen. Mars, though, you can. You can have your sun opposite Mars. Mars goes anywhere, the wanderer, okay? That's what planet means anyway. It just means wanderer, the things that wander in the night sky, in the heavens. So, Mars is our planet of action and needs traction to get where he's going. Mars is exalted in Capricorn. Why? Because Capricorns make it happen. Capricorns are the make it happen sign, right? No waiting around, it's getting things done. Opposite Capricorn is Cancer. So Mars is in its weakest aspect in Cancer because anything that goes into Cancer goes into hiding. Okay, just like the crabs on the beach. If you see a crab on the beach, you're going to see it for a moment because it's going to hide someplace. It's either going to go into a hole that it's burrowed, it's going to go hide in a shell or in some sort of crevasse. Cancer's going to hide. The crab's going to hide. Okay, so when our planet of action moves into Cancer, this is like, there's seasonal depression, and oddly enough, usually around August, there is a sort of a seasonal midsummer depression. Okay, it's hot. People just kind of the excitement of July is kind of over. It's hot, and people kind of go into this. Okay, I'm hibernating in the heat now, and Mars is ahead right now. Let's look at this. Let's look at this chart for a second. Mars is here. Okay, this is the North Node. North Node is not a planet, it's a point in the sky. So, as far as the planets are concerned, how this looks, now Mars is a slow-moving planet. As far as our personal planets goes, it takes about 2 years to get around. Mercury 3 times faster than the Sun, and Venus is about 1.5. Okay, so this is the slowest moving of our personal ones, but yet he's ahead of the game. So this is like a foreshadow. Everything that's been happening to has been foreshadowing what's been happening to us in the past. Okay, so Mars gets a taste of it before the Sun does, before Mercury does, and before Venus does. And this only happens every couple of years, where it looks like Mars is leading the race. Again, but in actuality, Mars is slow and he's kind of coming up behind. Everything's lapping him. All right, in the reality, but it's just like a foreshadow. Mars is moving ahead. So Mars moving ahead to Cancer, this is like, look, this is going to be that midsummer, like, my motivation just went down. We had these high hopes of going and doing these things, and all of a sudden Saturn starts a retrograde period a couple weeks ago in Capricorn. Things start to slow down a bit. When Mars goes into Cancer, things are going to slow down even more. And then they're going to oppose each other. This is going to be in a month, But Mars is going to oppose Saturn. It's going to oppose Pluto. Conjunct the North Node saying, yes, little one, this is where you need to be going, warrior. Like, put your warrior freaking, geared down and hug a child, be compassionate. So it's like we're going to have this warrior trudging through water, okay? But we need to be learning how to swim instead of walking through water. This isn't aerobics. We need to learn how to swim. We need to learn how to adapt right now, okay? Because Cancer is the cardinal sign of water. Meaning it's bringing that emotional water energy. And Mars is just there. So again, when your warrior wants to take his or her machete and chop down, going through the jungle and going on this exploration, it's not where you're at. You're fighting the waves. You are learning how to swim in a place where you want to run, where you want to fly, where you want to ignite. This is slow. So be slow, be calculated in what's coming up here. This is nothing to freak out about. Now, I just went on a whole Mars deal. This is supposed to be a daily horoscope, so let's get into the daily. We're getting prepared for this full moon coming up. I'll make another video about that. But today, let me show you the chart again. Here we go. Now let me bring this back. Let me reel it in. To about noon here. Okay. So the moon is in the later degrees of Libra, okay, which is early in the morning. It is squaring Saturn, squaring Pluto, squaring the South Node. So this is about that balance, that compromise like we talked about yesterday. Fair compromise is when both parties leave unsatisfied. Or this can be where both parties leave very satisfied because we found common ground. We found, whatever was lit up on Wednesday that the Neptune kind of lit up is coming into fruition here. And this square, the moon squaring Saturn and Pluto, has the sweet relief of the South Node being there, meaning, let me jump back to part of yesterday's lesson for a moment, was when Venus was at the 0 degrees and we talked about finding that crystal river, okay? So we have an understanding that this crystal river, it took the past, the history of, every triumph and defeat, every war and glory, brought us to this river in its untouched, pure form that it is. So today, we have this sense of like, look, it took the past to bring us here, and I can let go of some of these things that have been holding me back about people, because this is Libra's about other people, okay? So we can let go of things that are concerning us with other people. I like to say, like when we say, how was your day? Oh, I had a bad day. I challenge that. I love to challenge that with people. It's like, no, you probably had bad moments. And those moments were probably these little instances that didn't last a full 24-hour span, but you're focused more on that happened, and you're saying it's your whole day, but it's this moment, it's this instance. So looking at the astrology, it's just like, two people might have had a bad moment, a bad instance, but we're moving forward in a place where it's being let go. It's just like it's being recognized as, hey, it was a bad day. Just caught myself. It was a bad moment. It was a bad, confrontation between two good parties. And we recognize that, and we can now move forward in a more harmonious pattern. We're letting go of holding on to that kind of stuff, right? So it's a very great thing, because as the moon moves throughout the day, I'm going to show you this in a second again, as the moon is moving into Scorpio, this is about the shadow side of life. Getting ready for a full moon, it's just like, well, we're going to see the shadows. We're going to light the shadows up. And when the moon goes into Scorpio, it's just like, this is our emotions, and we have to be honest with ourselves when we do this. Let me show you again here. There's just so much going on right now. So much going on today. So let me show you how cool this is. As this moon, okay, starts to move forward, look at right here. I'm pointing with my finger. You can't see it. So down here, Mercury, 19 degrees, is going to move over to 20 degrees, create this sextile, and bring back the yod here. Okay, watch this. Right there. So by 3 p.m., Mercury is now moving close enough to the 20-degree mark where it's creating the sextile and creating this yod, again, pointing to the information being out there. This is about higher information. Okay. So, my mouse mouse is being funky. Here we go. So, this higher information, maybe there's this higher information that's out there that's bringing these two parties that once had a fallout back together. Maybe there's higher ground. There's faith and communication and understanding that brings and allows these people to come back together, because it's all about the higher knowledge. It's all about faith, and it's about the higher education. It's just like, I always say, you need 4 strong legs to make a table. It's not a solo person's project. And if you're building a school together, you need a lot of really strong minds that are going to build a charter school, or, we're building Hogwarts, So if you're out there building Hogwarts, you need really strong-minded individuals, and sometimes there can be combative moments between these strong-minded individuals of where we are going in creating this school. But the point is creating the school. We can get hung up on these little things, these little instances, but the bigger picture that we're painting together is we're making this Hogwarts. We're making this very magical, very cool thing, and we need all of these strong individuals, right? So it's the higher education that's bringing us back together, this freedom, this release, and saying yes to others, and moving forward by a little bit later at night. Here we go. Now let's pay attention to this red line here. Okay, so now it's 6 p.m., a little bit later in the day. Let's just stop right there at 1 degrees. So 8 p.m. at night. So this is later on, you're winding down. We have the moon going into Scorpio opposing Venus again, and then the next day, or 2 days, whatever, early in the morning, it's going to be the full moon. So this Venus opposite moon here, okay, Venus just came home to Taurus. She loves being home in Taurus, getting things done. And Taurus is, about personal possessions and things and money. And we got the moon over here saying, let's shine a light on this stuff, okay? In a sense, this is a mini, I look at this, the energy of like a mini Venus retrograde. And it's poking at you, saying, why? Why have you been holding on to this thing? Why are you liking this? It's like, I want to shine the light on these shadows here. And are you holding on to dead weight, or is this something that's really aiding you? Is the armor that you've put on you, is this really aiding you in your journey, or is it slowing you down and weighing you down and holding you back? So it's going to make you question over the next couple of days, why do I like this? Why am I like this? What am I hiding? That armor is to hide a vulnerable spot. Okay? That armor is to hide a vulnerable spot that if we open up and we expose that spot, maybe it's our sweet, tender hearts. Because we're dealing with people right now. So maybe we want to stay guarded. We want to bring our heart, close to chest and guard it. But this is saying, hey, expose this stuff and open it up, because this is the magic that can happen. And you can really love can flourish. And when you see you're putting your own guard down. You're being honest with yourself, and you're saying, you know what? I don't need to wear this armor. I can have an open heart. I can have an open heart, and I can share this, because this is where my light's coming from. This is where my light's coming from, is this open heart. But if I've got it covered, no light's getting out. So the moon's going into Scorpio, saying like, hey, let's shine a light on the shadows of the things that you try to hide that make you seem vulnerable. That if you keep this hidden, you won't be judged. Venus opposed the moon. So it's like, get out there, love. Don't be stingy with your love. Find out what it is, what you're covering up, what you're hiding. Open it up, expose it. You know what I mean. Thank you as always for hanging out with me. Appreciate it. Have a happy Thursday. Doing a meditation class tonight at the Studio for Mindfulness in Royal Oak. We're doing sacral and throat chakra. So if you need that good throat chakra, that good energy to, tap into your creative communication and expressing your self-expression, come join us. It's going to be a fun little class. It's 5:30, 6:30, and 7:30 at the Studio for Mindfulness in Royal Oak. Otherwise, thank you. We'll see you tomorrow.